there's a new law that's requiring mandatory sick leave to be given to these employees. And you have to actually have in the paycheck stub a separate category showing this employee how much sick time they have accrued. Make sure your staffing agencies are doing things like that down to the detail, because what this law is trying to make clear to you as the business owners is that if your staffing agencies don't do it, the state is going to allow these employees to look to you for recourse. And by the way, you can't contract away this liability. You can't put in your contract, I'm not responsible for this. That's strictly prohibited by the statute. Okay, you heard me talking about this sick leave development in our state, and that's Labor Code 2810. We got to Labor Code 2810 through Assembly Bill 1522, which was approved by our governor on September 10th, 2014. And you don't actually have a right to use the sick leave that's provided by this law, though, if you're an employee until July 1st, 2015. However, if your employees are working there now, there is some confusion if you look at the Department of Industrial Relations website for a question. They have a question and answer about this law on their page. And it seems to be there's even some confusion there about whether employees are accruing their sick leave time now, or do they not begin to accrue it until July 1st, 2015. How much do you want to bet there's going to be a lawsuit soon over that? Some employee is going to file the first claim, and we'll find out how the courts are going to interpret this statute for us. So how does an employee qualify for the sick leave relief that's provided for by the statute? Well, an employee qualifies for paid sick leave by working for an employer on or after January 1st, 2015 for at least 30 days within a year in California, and by satisfying a 90-day employment period, which is like a probationary period before an employee can actually take any sick leave. So think about that for a minute. The employee only has to work 30 days a year to qualify for this. Now, there's a 90-day probationary period, so they can't just work for you for a day and then say, hey, I'm taking some days off because I'm sick, and you're going to pay for it. But they don't have to work there very much within the course of the year to qualify for some of the benefits that are required by this new law. Okay, so it applies to employees who work at least 30 days a year within a year, including part-time, per diem, and temporary employees. So the certain types of businesses are exempt from this. So, city employees. So I was talking to the city manager earlier and the mayor, you guys don't have to worry. Your employees aren't covered by this. But the rest of you in the group, hey, even if you have per diem or part-time, this applies as long as they're working that 30 days a year. They're accruing paid time off. What if a staffing agency is used? I was talking about this earlier. You still have to comply. So if the statute, or you have to make sure your staffing agency complies. So if your staffing agency is not giving the accrued paid time off and not properly tracking it and showing it to the employee in their paycheck stubs, ultimately it could come back to you. The amount of paid sick time that they're entitled to. Well, they start to get it in July 1st, even though it's effective already as of the beginning of this year. Employees will earn at least 1 hour of paid leave for every 30 hours worked. That works out to a little more than 8 days a year for someone who works full-time. But employers can limit the amount of paid sick leave an employee takes in 1 year to 24 hours or 3 days. So that would be for a part-time employee. There you go. You might have to be giving some of your employees mandatorily 8 days off if they're sick.